Zambia is at a turning point. As the nation approaches a critical election period, the question of leadership, accountability, and vision have never been more urgent. And the competition was open to youth aged 18 to 35 across Zambia. Participants were required to submit a 1-minute video announcing their presidential candidacy and outlining their vision for Zambia. From this process, 10 candidates were shortlisted, and now they will proceed through a structured elimination process modeled around key pillars of presidential leadership. Well, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the People's President. I'll be your host. My name is Peter Zulu. Now, this platform is a very unique platform because here we invite young people, young minds, and come and challenge their ideas. They are great thinkers who will put their ideas to the test, will put them through rigorous training that will help them think better and test their ideas. Let's take it back to season 1. Well, season 1 was extraordinary. So many great things happened in season 1, but season 2 is pushing it to the limit. 10 young people coming together to share their ideas. Now they're going to share their ideas on this show, and those ideas will be put to the test. Practical steps. Because our country stands at a very unique position. There's a lot going on. Economic recovery, youth unemployment, debt management, all that put into one young mind to see which one will stand out with the best of ideas to lead this country forward. We have our 10 contestants, and they will be competing to be the People's President right here. So over the coming few weeks, our contestants are going to go through a lot of testing. First of all, we'll test their ideas. Then they'll meet policymakers. They'll meet people that are involved in actually, the runnings of the country. People that know the ins and outs, people that have sat at tables that have made big decisions. They'll be given an opportunity to actually interact with them, train them, and then the ultimate test. We will bring all that knowledge that has been imparted in them to one great test to see who will come up with the best plan for this country and whether there will be the People's President. But we have our finalists, we have our shortlist, and this time around, we'll have to meet them. So, ladies and gentlemen, allow me to introduce you to the top 10 of the People's President.
My name is Margaret Namkanzie, a fourth-year economics student at the University of Zambia. And aside from that, I'm the Minister of Finance for Youth Model Parliament Africa Zambia. And I'm also a youth leader and someone who has interest in research. The first moment in my life that made me I would lead is because of my interest in research. So I realized that most of Zambia's problems are not because we lack resources, but because we cannot utilize the resources that we have. And someone who is very passionate, a patriotic Zambian, I realized that together we can lead better and make a prosperous Zambia. So one of the most devastating problems in my community is when children go to school not because they want to learn, but because it's the only way they can provide meals for their families through the feeding programs. Children go to school because they want to be providers for their families. And this is so hateful, which shouldn't be the case. This clearly shows us that the cost of living is so high that our families can barely afford meals a day. All right, thank you for that one. My vision is a country that is industrialized, a country that creates opportunities for its young people, a nation that leaves the future generation in better and safer hands.
Greetings, countrymen and women. My name is Bota Emmanuel. I'm a student of international relations at Munungushi University, aged 21. My belief that I could lead has been shaped by my leadership journey, which has been characterized by experiences, people, as well as opportunities which I've had. My journey to lead manifested at Mukasa Minor Seminary, where I learned moral values, discipline, as well as the importance of faith in one's life. I later on proceeded to St. Paul's Secondary School, where I had an opportunity of serving in various departments, including the chapel department, the hostel department, as well as the boarding house department. I was later appointed to serve as a chapel prefect. And now at Mulungushi University, where I'm currently pursuing my studies, I equally furthered my leadership journey. I have had opportunities of serving as a class representative, as a hostel representative, as a member of the Student Representative Council, and a committee member under the Student Union. In the year 2025, I had an opportunity of being elected as Minister of Information, Research and Employment. And later during my tenure, I had an opportunity of being appointed as Acting Academic Affairs Minister. And at the end of this all, earlier this year, I recontested in the union elections as the Student Union President. Now, looking at how my leadership journey has been, it has built that belief in me that truly I can lead as well as represent the interests of people. Coming from a small town called Kabwe in the heart of Central Province, what frustrates me the most is seeing a marketeer who wakes up every day at 04 hours, selling tomatoes in Kasanda Mine Market, but still worries about the cost of living. What frustrates me the most is seeing a farmer in Kamakuti who always depends on rainfall, but yet struggles to access the market as well as farming inputs. And most importantly, is seeing my fellow young people loitering in the streets of Kabwe from Katondo and Makululu, not because they are lazy or not because they're not willing to work, but because they lack opportunities. And meanwhile, I come from a community which is Kabwe with endless potential as well as resources where they can be unlocked with right investments and right practical policies. That's what frustrates me the most. My vision for Zambia is to see a Zambia that puts people at the center of development, where we can have people from different walks of life, the marketeers, the street vendors, the students, the entrepreneurs, all have an enabling environment that can allow them to reach their full potential with opportunities provided by the country.
My name is Esther Dani Zulu, a medical student at Mulungushi University, and I'm 22 years old. So one thing that made me believe that I could lead is that leadership has been a journey of service in most parts of my life. And I believe to say that a leader is a person that transforms life. And that's the testimony that has emerged out in most of the cases where I was given an opportunity to lead. People have become inspired. And so I have seen that I have the capacity to lead and I'm well able for the job. And that was a moment when I realized that I can lead. So the problem that frustrates me the most in my community, I come from a very beautiful town of Lundazi, and the problem that exists is the information gap that is there. I've met people who are talented with great potentials, yet they don't get to hear some of the opportunities that are laid out by the countries. Opportunities of talk of scholarships, sponsorships, and many more things. This could not only because information is not put out there, but because some people think their voice doesn't matter, and they think people in other cities, people who are in big cities, are the ones who are supposed to voice out. So I envision a Zambia where opportunity reaches every district, where leadership is governed by integrity, and where each and every citizen has a voice in the national decision-making. Apart from that, I also envision a Zambia where every young person has access to quality education as well as meaningful employment opportunities.
My name is Isaac Chama. I'm a law student at the Copperbelt University who is passionate about governance. Well, growing up, I never actually believed leadership belonged to people like me. I grew up in Chinsali, a place where there are a lot of young people with unmatched potential but limited opportunities. A lot of hardworking people whose voices have often not been heard on the global scale. I decided, and through going through these things, I came to one possible conclusion. I understood to say leadership is not about privilege or titles, but leadership is about making sure that you stand and say, how far I'll go is not defined by where I was born. And that is why I understood to say there's supposed to be people out there in the world who stand up and speak for people who do not have a voice and create opportunities for these people. And I decided to say that person is me. The problem in my community that frustrates me the most is not necessarily the poverty in itself, but it is the normalization that having unresourced schools, having poor roads, poor healthcare is simply something that is part of life. I refuse to understand to say a child's future and a child's dream should be limited by their geography. That is why I believe we should have a country that is equal in opportunity, whether born in Chinsali or Lusaka or Kitwe. My vision for Zambia is to have a Zambia where dreams are not limited by geography, but are determined by success, but are determined by skill and talent. And furthermore, it is to have a Zambia where each and every person feels regarded, making sure to understand to say no Zambian feels too far so that they can feel to matter.
Hello Zambia, my name is Wiseman Daka. I'm a Zambian youth aged 28. I come from Chongwe originally, but currently based on the Copper Belt in Dola. I am currently studying at Kweswe University as a second-year public health student, and I'm also keen on national matters that relate to civic engagement. It was a time when I was entrusted with a leadership responsibility of being a head boy at a tender age. Hence, when that responsibility was handed over to me, I got to realize that leadership does not depend on a title that you uphold, but it is the responsibility that lies on your shoulders. Hence, I believed I could lead from that day on. There are many problems in my community that frustrate me. Aside poor water, hygiene and sanitation, aside lack of opportunities for young people, it is the unemployment levels in my community that frustrates me the most. Despite interacting with graduates, despite interacting with entrepreneurs, I get frustrated when I see the potential of young people who are able, ambitious and educated go untapped and not utilized to their full potential. I envision a Zambia that creates a system with opportunities for everyone. Whether you are in a different geographical location of our 10 provinces, whether you're from a different tribe, you're differently politically affiliated, I envision a Zambia where opportunities are for every Zambian.
My name is Mukuka Zulu. I am 25 years old and I am an international relations expert and specialist. I remember watching an article in 2019, rather reading an article in 2019 that was published by Al Jazeera, and it said the current economic condition in Zambia is so deplorable that it's going to take us approximately 50 years to rectify all of the problems that we're currently facing. It's at that moment that I realized that people like me that have the technical know-how and that have the knowledge compared with the passion are the people that would be able to lead this nation to greater heights. The misallocation of resources or the disproportionate allocation of resources, where just a few steps away there's someone that's living a lavish life, and just a few houses away someone is struggling to make enough money to have one meal put on their table. My vision for Zambia is a Zambia that is built on institutions and not personalities. My vision for Zambia is creating a country where our wealth can find a home within our government and our country, and not within the pockets of foreign investors. Thank you.
My name is Maxwell Banda. I'm a 22-year-old international relations and diplomacy student. I'm also a young farmer and agro-processor based in Lusaka. So the truth is, I'm just a young boy from Lusaka. I grew up in Misisi, roaming the market, way before I ever walked on a stage at the United Nations headquarters. What made me believe I was a leader was not any other person. It was the blueprint that is on the foundation of this nation, that the Kaundas, the Venon Mwangas, the Rupia Bandas laid down to ensure that young people have the ability to lead. I think what frustrates me the most is not the actual problem in itself. It is the inherent decision of people to continue electing leaders who have built nothing and expect them to build something. Because everyone can be a visionary. Everyone can see a problem and they can see beyond the problem. So it is those people that learn how to manage it. My vision for Zambia is very simple. I want a Zambia that is sovereign, a Zambia that feeds itself, a Zambia that takes care of its wealth, a Zambia that gives power back to its people.
Greetings everyone, I am Ellen Chioa, a law student at the University of Lusaka, your incoming People's President 2026. I think it started from the time I was a child. I remember that when I was a child, I thought I wanted to be a princess. So I remember I would nag my dad telling him, when are the chiefs coming? Because I'm Tonga. I was saying, when are the chiefs coming? Maybe they'll make me a princess. I really wanted to be a princess when I was younger. And then I asked my dad, okay, if I can't be a princess, you should run for president so that I can become the president's daughter. That's somehow a princess. So eventually, of course, that didn't happen. And I realized within myself that I should take it upon myself to take up leadership. It came naturally to me. So I was awarded the opportunities to serve at council level, to serve as a junior MP. And I believe that leaders aren't born, they're made. So through those opportunities, I learned more leadership skills so that I can adequately serve people. I think that's a very interesting question because every problem is frustrating. But one that I recently also experienced is when in an emergency situation, there aren't frequent or reliable emergency services that can come and can help you out. In terms of the fact that, for example, there's an accident. There was an accident that happened outside my house. And I was trying to call certain toll-free lines and they were not working, they were just ringing. And in emergency situations, you're left alone. Imagine you don't have a family member to call, imagine you don't have a friend to call. And you're relying on government institutions that are supposed to be helping you in emergency situations, but they aren't. And it's a really frustrating problem because those same toll lines aren't even government funded. They're funded by NGOs and they don't work. So that was a very frustrating situation for me. And it was really worrying because imagine if it was a worse situation, if someone's life was in danger and nothing is available. My vision for Zambia is a country where citizens' needs and priorities and well-being are taken to the utmost priority, and a country where we are self-sustainable and don't rely on aid.
My name is Seth Landu. I'm a 21-year-old second-year international relations undergraduate student at the University of Zambia and a candidate for the 2026 People's President. Well, I always have a personal mantra that I go by in which I like to say that those who can do and those who cannot aid. It is a rendition of a popular mantra that says those who can do and those who cannot teach. Because I personally believe that regardless of whatever demographic or field you are found in, you have the capacity to have an impact on it. So I've always looked at leadership as a vocational calling because in spite of my best efforts to pull away from environments and situations that put me in the spotlight, I see it that destiny and fate keep on pulling me towards it, and I've had the privilege of being nurtured and surrounding myself with wonderful role models and leaders like my mother and my grandmother who have always encouraged me to go and do great things. The problem and issue that frustrates me the most in my community is seeing potential go to waste. We see too many young people these days losing their potential and full grasp of what they can achieve, because they are succumbing to drug abuse, drug addiction, lack of formal employment and sustainable employment, lack of access to sustainable and quality education, as well as healthcare and guidance. My vision for Zambia is a Zambia that pushes for sustainable and equitable inclusion rather than equality based on appeasing those above us. I believe for far too long that this has been the goal and it should be changed.
My name is Emily Nalwamba. I'm a final year law student at Mulungushi University, an advocate of civic engagement and a published author. I believe that young people are not merely consulting firms, neither are they tools for campaign cycles, but they are people that are able to contribute meaningfully to the development of this country. And I believe that leadership is not about personal capabilities, but the abilities collectively of a people and how best we are able to impact the lives of other people. I would say the lack of recreational facilities, as well as the lack of skills development training centers, as well as the fact that most young people are not keen or aware of their civic liberties, freedoms, and how best they can civically engage. I believe that Zambia can move to a more productive economy where the economy provides opportunities and also it is able to function independently without external support or relying heavily on external debt. And also, I believe that young people can be at the core of leadership.
So there you have it. You've met your contestants. Now you know who wants to become the people's president. You've met them, you know where they're from, you know who they are, you know what they do. Well, this show is all about the people and the judges. Well, we have a panel of judges that will help us adjudicate the performances of these particular candidates. And guess what? You get to decide as well. You will be a part of the adjudication process, so you'll be able to vote for your favorite president. This is the people's president. So guess what? Next episode, we'll get to hear their manifestos. Who has the best manifesto to convince you, the Zambian people, that they have what it takes to become the people's president? Right here. So tune in next time as we hear and meet our presidential aspirants with their manifestos right here on the people's president.